much. Welcome. We are broadcasting live from the National Assembly in Banjul. My name is Ubagajigwan. This is the State of the Nation address. Of course, we are here at the National Assembly, and then this is a constitutional requirement, and the president should be coming to the National Assembly every year to address the nation. And this year again, the president will be coming here shortly to address the nation. Of course, he'll be talking about the economy of the country, of course, agriculture and all other sectors that are concerned. He'll be telling us, of course, what he did for the country for the past few months, and also what he will be doing in the next year. So it is actually a constitutional requirement, and the president will be here shortly. But currently, we've seen the arrival, we have witnessed the arrival of National Assembly members and also other dignitaries. I have seen the former vice presidents also here seated already inside the chambers. The president also and his delegation will arrive and of course address the nation here. What are we expecting? We can only say when the president of course addressed the nation already. Last year he talked about agriculture, he talked about security, he talked about of course a lot of policies that his government wanted to do for this country. This year also we're expecting a lot more that the president is going to say. Barigol ngal tentu kal jay bake momo be kerfatu jibe kanyen tembenna be National Assembly le science tenting da mi alon ko banko president wanyantana la janne pour que diamu banko dingole ñimmu luwalti mi alon ko abenna loi bu ko kono le ko sango sam banko president wanyantana la le pour adim mole kacha ala programme wala mi alon ko abe wolle ke kan ala man sakunda mil tambita anin mili alon ko wolle kana pour que diamu mole ñin santambila be nun janne andu ngatandal la le ko mi alon ko wolle keta non jang ñinan sango fanan abinale pour que kacha mole bayre luwale mi alon ko banko maral kitabo fongole alandi ko a nyanta kelale walatinna kana pour kake kana ke National Assembly jam pour ani moliye diam be mun expect kan disia nta lonno la naman diam folo bari ngam mel no ngole bindi ko last year diamuto sectoral bill kabo agriculture la kara fo banko fon la economy kara fo fisheries anin dula kote ngol mi alon ko wolle be Gambia banko kanjang ñinam fana ba expect la ko abe ku jamal bi jele mi alon ko abe fola ala ñing address to mi alon ko aba kala of course bi National Assembly da mi alon ko be wolto science tenting jamal fudara le barate mom fuda folo daba ko no wolem National Assembly members ti former vice president wal fana ngedi jani anin dignitaries dol mi alon ko wala ko da fa pare mbokay di jaajefal ke ba ko xamne rek ya ngay setan kerfaatu jamono ji di len wax ne rek di len wax ne jamono ji ñu ngi National Assembly fofu lay nekka di len wax ne State of the Nation address fofu lay fofu president bi tay dafa address nation bi di jégalu rek president bi tay dafa address nation bi xam ngeen ne li lu wala bo xamne mun ci constitution bi lolu mo waral president bi day ñew every year pour mu address nation bi. Last year ñewon na fini waxon na ci mbiri economy bi, waxon na mbiri fisheries, waxon na mbiri agriculture ak yeneen yo xamne mom mu ko def Gambia fini nguram bi ñu ko def Gambia fini. waaye this year tamit expect nañ ne na def lu mel nii soobee yàlla nañu wax loo xam ne romb na waaye ak loo xam ne mu ngi ñëw monsieur Ba mi ne noon mbiya ko National Assembly min goni joni ni ɗoɗo gandantuma hannde président Adama Barrow arana ɗon pour o haalda yimɓe ɓe programme ji laamu makko ko waɗata ko nder leydi Gambia ɗo beela ko yawti ko yo ko aratane si Allah jaaɓi ɓe darna ɗum pour waɗgol ɗum pour o haalana on ɗum ko ɗon min goni ni onon gandi ko yawti ko arino hitande yawtinde nde o arino o haali kulle économie leydi o haali kulle agriculture o haali kulle nono ɗiɗi nanguirteni o haali ɗum foof yo programme ji goɗɗi ɗi gandantuma o haali ɗi hikkane o arat pour o haalana yimɓe ko yawti ko yo ko arata ko hokko faala waɗat yimɓe so I am definitely here with Ramatulai Jao, also a reporter at Korpadu. So we're going to discuss some of the things that the president said last year, but also we're going to discuss the expectations. What are we going to expect? Because it's not much difference if you look at the State of the Nation address in 2022 and of course in the 2023 it was not much difference. It was almost the same thing. So we're expecting this year there might be difference, but we are not. So Ramata, welcome.
Thank you so very much, Buba.
What are we expecting this year?
As you rightly mentioned, it's the State of the Nation address. It is a constitutional requirement for the President of the Republic of the Gambia to be coming to the National Assembly of the Gambia to address the nations and touching different aspects of the economic in the Gambia. As you rightly mentioned, last year he has mentioned the agriculture side. He has talked about the defense, the security, and a lot more. And this year also we are expecting the President to be in the Parliament here shortly to address the nation. And today we don't know what exactly is the President going to talk about, but we are expecting a lot because for the past year there have been a lot of activities that have happened in the Gambia. So we are expecting the President to address all of them, especially with the security aspect. As you know, since in 2016, or let's say in 2017, the Gambia is in its national security reform process, and we are still in it. So I think the President is going to talk about it, and also in the agriculture sector, in the environment also, because we are in the rainy season, and we know Gambia is very vulnerable when it comes to climate change. And I know His Excellency President Adama Barrow will talk about it, and what are some of the mitigations his government has to ensure that Gambia we will not witness or we will not see a lot of floods across the country. And also, as you rightly mentioned, we have seen dignitaries, the former Vice President of the Gambia, we have seen National Assembly members, and the Speaker is already... That is and the Speaker also is already inside, and also some National Assembly members. And we are waiting for His Excellency to be in the Parliament here, and I know shortly he will be here to address the nation in few minutes in time. And we are in June, let's say it, and we have few months to go for 2024 to end, and we are expecting a lot more in this short duration. And I know His Excellency President Adama Barrow will address the nation peacefully and kindly. As you can see at the background, we have the security standing, parading, waiting for the arrival of His Excellency President Adama Barrow.
Yeah, yes, the security, of course, behind us. Last year we had Colonel Mbub as the parade commander. Unfortunately, he passed away, so we pray for him. May Jannah be his, of course, final destination. This year we're going to have another, of course, parade commander here. So, but going back to last year, the President talked about agriculture when he said they will be having of course, a national fertilizer policy. He mentioned that last year, but then we've seen this year, compared to this year, I don't know whether this policy is already adopted or not, which he promised last year during his nation address. But we've seen this year they've reduced the price of fertilizer only $50 here. I'm not sure whether this is from that policy that he's talking about, but I think it might be different because every year we understand that they reduce the prices of fertilizers so that they can definitely help farmers. And also they subsidize this so that the farmers can get it at the right price, or maybe at a price that they feel like can help them access this fertilizer. So $50 has been reduced, but it seems like the policy that the President was talking about definitely was not incorporated in this year's how do you call it? I don't know what to call it, the National Development Plan, or what, or the Euro or what. Yes. So we've not seen the policy. I'm not 100% sure whether the policy is adopted or not, but $50 is reduced from the price of fertilizer this year. Do you think there's more changes in the agricultural sector? If you look at what the President said about agriculture last year to this year?
There is no much changes because, as you rightly mentioned, every year his government used to reduce the cost of fertilizers so that it can be easily accessible to the farmers to make their farming product easy for them. But this year we have seen that his government has reduced only $50 in the price of fertilizer. So I don't think that is much change because looking at $50 to me is very small. I think it should be way more than $50 so that the farmers can have access to fertilizers. And we have seen a reaction from the opposition parties. They are complaining about it, saying that reducing $50, even if his government don't reduce $50, even if his government don't reduce anything, it's better than reducing $50. And I think his government should do more because currently the farmers are in the bush. They are currently preparing, or some of them are even into it already, because Gambia have witnessed its first rainfall, and farmers are preparing to harvest their groundnuts. They are ready to harvest their coos and millets and so many other things. So I think President Adama Barrow should do more way better than reducing only $50 from the price of fertilizer.
Definitely yes. I think the agriculture sector needs more, but this is why the State of the Nation address comes every year, so that the president will come and address the nation and also talk about issues that he feels like there were challenges during the past year, and also of course the things that he will be doing in the coming year. And of course, as we mentioned earlier, when he addressed the nation, the National Assembly members will have the opportunity, not today but tomorrow, to discuss about what the president said, because this will be definitely a marathon speech. As we expecting last year, it was a booklet that he read, and he touched on all the sectors in the country. But unfortunately, most of the things, as people are saying, they are not addressed, as you mentioned. And agriculture is an important sector that he mentioned, but it seems like a lot of things are there's no more changes in the agriculture sector. But now, looking at even the economy of the country, it is same thing. We know the Gambia is a tax-based economy, but then it seems like there are a lot of things that have not changed as far as the economy is concerned. Because yes, we've seen the Gambia Revenue Authority collecting a lot of taxes and then announcing the collection of a lot of taxes, but the problem is it has not reflected in the poor people that are in the country. So we expect some of these things, also the president to address, but also the fisheries sector. We expect the president also to come on the fisheries sector, which he also mentioned last year. He talked about a policy that was being developed as far as the fisheries sector is concerned, the Ministry of Fisheries. I'm not sure what happened to that also, because these are all things that he mentioned last year, and we expect that he is going to mention some of these things. And then he blamed Ukraine and COVID-19 last year also, that these were part of the things that definitely these were part of the problems that they were having, that they are not able to do a lot of things. And I think yes, to be fair, a lot of countries are blaming Ukraine, they are blaming COVID-19 for a lot of things that are happening. But I'm not sure where we are, but from 2022 to 2023, of course, COVID-19 and Ukraine have been so much blamed as far as the problems of this country are concerned. So, but we are going to deal with some of the things that he said last year. But what exactly are we expecting this year as far as his address is concerned? We already know that we've passed a lot of terrible months. A lot of people are complaining, and also a lot of security lapses and a lot of things that have been happening. What do you think the president will more focus on this year?
To me, I think his speech will be focused more on the security side of the nation, and also if we are going to talk maybe the side of the defense, talking about the way the coast is doing in the country. Just yesterday we have seen the minister of defense, because we've learned that yesterday was the day where people came out to fight drug, and also we have seen the Gambia government has joined the rest of the world to put their voices in to make sure that all the youth in the Gambia far from illicit drug, especially the kus. Most of them know it as jinabas. And also, I think, Buba, last year, His Excellency President Adama Barrow talked about the education part, and I think he's doing tremendous well in the side of education, building infrastructures across the country.
How is he doing tremendous well, Ramatullah? Okay, go ahead.
We have seen last year, His Excellency President Adama Barrow has talked about building a lot of infrastructure when it comes to educational system in the Gambia. And currently, just recently, we have seen His Excellency has concluded a tour where he was meeting people across the country, and we have seen he has opened a lot of clinics, and also he has said that he is opening a lot of schools across the country to make sure that Gambians have easy access to education. And as we know, education is a right. Every Gambian has the right to be educated in the Gambia, and I think His Excellency is doing excellence in building schools and also in building hospitals across the country, if you were to say.
Yeah, so we're expecting definitely he will touch on that, especially in the health sector. So
yeah.
We understand that this year we have a lot of challenges as far as the health sector is concerned. We have seen, of course, the inauguration of some clinics in the provinces and others, but if you talk to the masses, what they will say is, yes, we have hospitals, we have clinics in this country, but we are having a lot of challenges. Even the equipment that they will be using in these hospitals is a problem. So these are some of the things that people are complaining, and I think the president might also come up with solutions and tell us what exactly his government is doing to address some of these things as far as the hospitals. We have seen, of course, oppositions coming out. Mama Kande said when he comes to power, it will be free health care for all pregnant women, so which is laudable. What will the president say? Does he have a program that will address some of these health challenges that we have in the country? But we will wait and see. And also you talked about the drugs. We've seen 11 people died 11 people who consume kus drugs died in this country, and the report came out yesterday, which is very sad. And what we saw is 7 people died in very few days, and I think the government should have a mechanism that can address this issue. I know there's a task force that is formed to address this, but if you look at their report that they released yesterday, they are saying that funding is part of the problems that they are having under the challenges. They said funding is part of the problems that they are having. So if you give someone responsibility to do a certain job, it is important to give them the right funding so that they are able to do the job properly. And then definitely they've said this, but as far as the president is coming today to address the nation, we believe he's going to talk about he's going to talk about some of these things. He's going to talk about how drugs are affecting our young people, so that because he is the president, if he talks, people should listen. So we expect today, as he is talking to the entire nation, a lot of people will be listening to the president today. All the media houses are here, and a lot of people will listen. So when he said this is the program that we have on drugs, and these are the plans that we have, probably people will listen. And he also probably should give advice to the young people so that they can avoid using some of these drugs, because it is affecting a lot of people. It is one of the concerns. And also Ramatra, security. We've seen a lot of security lapses in this country. We've seen a lot of security challenges in this country, and we believe, of course he mentioned it last year, but it was just mentioned in the paper, and they said they're going to, since 2022 he mentioned about security. He said his government will not joke about security. In 2023 also, that was last year, of course he mentioned about security, and this year we also expect he's going to mention about security. But what is the government, what are they going to do as far as security is concerned? That is the most important thing, I believe. So yes.
And also, we have seen every year after the State of the Nation address, likely on Monday, the National Assembly members are coming back to the Parliament to discuss about the recent issues happening, the recent issues, and also to debate on the President's the President's statement. And we have seen NAMS have been raising concerns that they want the president himself to be present in the parliament to witness the discussions that will be surrounded by his statement. And we have seen last year, I think, Honorable Suleiman Saho have raised a concern that he raised a motion that he will want the president to come to the parliament to sit. He don't want the president to send his vice president to come to the parliament to listen to their debate. And we are yet to see the president come into the parliament to sit and listen to the debate of the National Assembly. And I know Monday, National Assembly members are coming back to the parliament to discuss or to debate on the president's statement. So this year, I didn't know, Buba, whether His Excellency
I'm
President
not sure
Adama Barrow will come to the parliament.
I know
to listen to
the
this
Constitution gave him right to actually do so, not to come. He can send his vice president to come and answer questions. I know some National Assembly members are not happy. The likes of Sanyang. I remember last year he boycotted the president's nation address.
It was last year or year before last?
Yeah, last year too.
Last year
too.
Okay.
He was from year before last year, and he in fact mentioned that as far as the president is not going to come and listen to them and answer questions, he is not going to attend the State of the Nation address. He mentioned that when I interviewed him, I think year before last or last year. So we are expecting he's going to do the same thing. Last year, yes. This is what a lot of people want to see. We want to see the president read, because we call it reading. You have a booklet, you come and read. And we want to see him stand and listen to the National Assembly members, let them ask him questions and let him answer.
Yeah.
This is what we want.
Exactly.
He's the president of the country. We know, of course, the vice president, we are not saying he should not come to the National Assembly. But look, if
Not
the
every
president
year.
is busy, probably the law is brought. If the president is busy, the vice president is come. But that doesn't mean that the vice president should be coming every year. So it's important for the president also to come and listen to National Assembly members and answer their questions. So, but let's see what happened this year. I'm not sure whether Sanyang will attend this year also. But we have the program guide here with us, which is prepared by the National Assembly. They have a very solid, definitely, they have a very solid communication unit this time.
Yeah.
Say yes, Presba and
Jibairo.
Yes, they are doing extremely very good. So they said from 8 to 8:15, which actually made me here. Say the distinguished invited just to be seated. Well, at this time I know a lot of people were not seated. No, they were not even seated at the time.
At the time.
To be honest, at this time, 8 to 8:15, I was already here. So 8:15 to 8:30 should be the honorable members to be seated. Then 8:30 to 8:45 should be the arrival of the cabinet ministers, and from 8:15 to 8:45 to 9 o'clock should be the arrival of the Lordship, the Chief Justice, and the members of the bench and bar, which we've not yet witnessed. And they are already inside.
Yeah, they are already
okay.
seated.
So the cameras will definitely show you that. From 9 a.m. to 9:15 will be the arrival of the Vice President. I think it's already 10 o'clock. I'm not sure whether the Vice President is already here. So from 8:45 to 9:30 should be the prayers, then the communication from the chair, and assembly will be suspended. From there, then you have the official ceremony starts at from 9:30 to 10 o'clock. That has already passed. And talking about this, I'm mentioning these events on time because it's important. In the country, when we say 10 o'clock, we start 12.
Yeah.
When we say 12, we start at 3 p.m. So I think all of these people should have been here at the right time, but unfortunately we are not witnessing that. And we have the official ceremony that should be starting, that should have been started by now, from 9:30 to 10 a.m. Then we have the official, that is the arrival of His Excellency Mr. President Adama Barrow. He is the President of the Republic of the Gambia. His Excellency, that will be followed by His Excellency will be received by the Honorable Speaker of the National Assembly. Yeah, so we are informed that the President is coming. He's already inside the National Assembly. As you can see, we are showing you right now. He will inspect the parade. As I said, he will be led by the parade commander for inspection. From there, he will be going inside to be received by the Speaker of the National Assembly, who is no other person than Honorable Fabakary Tombong Jatta. But the president is already inside the. He's actually not late. Is 4 past 10. Yeah, he's not late. To be honest. So he will be received by the Speaker of the National Assembly. That is Honorable Fabakary Tombong Jatta. When he's okay. So let's go to the and listen to the parade command. The inspection of the Guard of Honor mounted by the Gambia Armed Forces is already been done, and we're expecting also His Excellency the President shake hands with honorable members of the National Assembly staff of the National Assembly, National Assembly members of the task force. I think that is currently what he is doing right now. He is also taking photos. So these are all part of the program events that will be happening here. His Excellency photo session with honorable members, and also he will do a tete-a-tete with the Speaker of the National Assembly, that is Honorable Fabaka Tombonjata, and also of course His Excellency's his procession enters the chambers. That is also one of the events that will be happening here today at the National Assembly. So, and also a sergeant at arms. According to this, it says it announces the arrival. The sergeants of arms will announce the arrival of His Excellency the President into the chambers, escorted by the Speaker of the National Assembly, with all standing to receive His Excellency the President. That is yet to be done. The clerk who will introduce the motion. There will be, of course, annual presidential address. Then that is the State of the Nation address by His Excellency the President. That is the 2024 legislative year. And we will have His Excellency delves the State of the Nation address, and 100 speaker adjourns the assembly. And of course the debate will be done tomorrow. So they still, yes, that is yes, Monday, right? Because tomorrow there is no sitting tomorrow, it should be Monday. The President is now having a group photo. He took of course there was a photo session with some of the members here, and there is now a group photo there with some of the members, and they will soon finish that, where we will now enter the chambers. Ramatlai akamta president wanyum futata le sign National Assembly jam.
Abaraka bake buba kona fale no nyaming angale kangola bi mimbe kering jang National Assembly to wala mo State of the Nation address ti fale alo nyaming sango sang His Excellency President Adama Barrow na loi buko wala nying kango diala pour sango sang kananang député bungoto puraning Gambia dingol sekatano ase diamu kula mial no ko wala be kering Gambia banko kan wala kaje ko department sol wala agency sol aminia no ko wala bala man sakunda koto ye do ko min kenyin sango min tambita min keta 2023 sangoti abina wala fola député bungoto jang anim fanan anyanta kamineke nyin kari dantangol minul tuta sang wicho nyim fanan kono nal ne ko sango san nanata nan aka nyin dula karol bir male nanata senola fanala President Adama Barrow kadiyama fanala le nanata fanan akaran wala fanala jata kende ala fanala tanko bunda fanan President Barrow kadiyamu wo fanal belale bari nyinang malom folo anim mimbena barnal nako abediyam la nyim fanal lale so fola fandir fengol be tarla kanne bang abutung wo ben nyakum potole akatun sainteng mimbe kering wala mu President Adama Barrow aferenting National Assembly dinkira nyinto bari sainteng akamunta kabena talul le takang aning député adunta kono tole sain bari mamira asita folo pour kana kacha mimbe kering akatun ko buba bi Fabakary Tombonjata atel mu speaker ti National Assembly bari bi atel be kala chanyinte because ala sira ngoto His Excellency President Adama Barrow le betar la sirinje andum fanan comme ika fanya min sajin ning arms nale National Assembly kolasi dokonde mulungale kataraje miyan ko kalandi ni wobije akamunta ko National Assembly proceedings be kerine bari bi ning President Adama Barrow dunta ibe wotale le yajindi akamunta ko te speaker ning atel be kala chair of the assembly katun ko na jita la sira ngoto dron abuga ke speaker ti aga ke chair le so bi ning adunta kono do alben ben natalo tandila la le Fabakary Tombonjata ka sidami His Excellency President Adama Barrow wala nyanta ka sidi pani banku dingole kacha kol min yal nako wala be kering banko kan bari buba ning katala kodo jaman fanan katu complain na la kafoko ministry ibuka information siri ngodi His Excellency President Adama Barrow Barrow la na nyanta kana National Assembly wala mu député bu ngote kadu ko nal ne ko President Barrow ka bugo min read ministerial in departments and agencies wolle ke la ila do ko le min ke sango min tamita ka wolle ke bugo nyin kono pour President Barrow yana read bari jama fanan kanyin akumbo da ko ministerial ay buka information jama di President Adama Barrow nana te la do ko la fanala wo fana mo jama ka wo kumbo nana ta nyin State of the Nation address kacha nyin kono ni President Barrow nata député bu ngokono sango sang
walam to yaade ramatulay President Musa dunta chambers kono le jigitale ko any time naning honorable Fabaka to mo jara titatet soto ibe sila le follow ala office wo kola na ma danda e dum kono do dami chambers kono dami alon ko abe mol address la dami alon sambi mi mol be kumpa ba lonna president be mune fola mole akam daga programme dol tambitale jesol saying mo man dunno akam dale ko dunna bayre banko president mo dundale already minister bu janne nga molu je janne mi alon ko ne do ko ke man sa kundal tole nga modol bu jenne mi alon ko banko dingol lem bayre la nyantolem pour canadon kasi ka president wala moy abe mune fola mole yaay minke nyin sangola mi alon ko le tambita bari anin sangol mi alon ko wala kana a expect banko mole mune expect nga fonu nyamen angale kango to commando don wala nyindi ko banko be problem jama balle face kan ramatulay jikitale ko banko president be nyin address la le adaba kono wole min drokoti mi alon ko fondin kelba maka ngajere reporto mi alon ko wole fintita kunun ye tax force min londi reporto min fintindi wala min jindi ko akamta motanden kilin nyongol wo fata nyin droko la koto le report sol mi alon ko wole fintita andu mowro wala wol fata wicho min na suti ada bakele nin ko mo katata nyola bakele jigitale ko nyimu concern di andu natara banko president we fintila pour ka diamu mole askeno nyindabe tar ko ko mi alon ko a nyanta address la bore ko yafu nyame jama wala kake problem modi because ni ajibe ministry jamal bi jele mi alon ko mimbe bulu ani min kana ila development ka wala samba ka wala safe ya diala jama ka wala na ka wala read jang but it's very important as a president also if there is a national issue or is a national concern mi alon ko mobile concern another you have a booklet mi alon ko wala read it's important to address some of these things mi alon ko is emergency mi alon ko abela banko makan we've seen the former president sinya jama ka wakele non ika spijol safia nanata kol mi alon ko nyanta wala fola ana mantra speech nyin kono aka fola is important pour president yo nyin kodol bije pour ay mention bari njiki telephone ka be diamul of course this year's nation address akana akam tele ko samala starting abake kan wala sama ketale already especially in the provinces jamma fa man wara back bari senelal be la kan ku jamal la manza kunda ngalone action tale ko ton jamal natili mi alon ko jambandi tonol lem yewo fole andi ko jamando fanan datalale lasiya wuli kilin keme kilin tan lulem nyina ko tan lulu bandi jele sayen wuli kilin keme kilin nem anu dikitale ko president be nyil fanan malale agriculture fannala munem challenges te mi alon ko wole abore address la because nga jele control hani sayen maputu protocol min fo mantra kika ngani sayen because maputu protocol ya fole ko at least 10% to la budget nyanta dun agriculture kunna bari nga jele han saying wo mantra ki probably intol mo tax based economy delti mantra kodo soto kan mi alon ko nyanta wole soto la jare be of course tax jamale collect kan ngalon ne ko ye tax le pour gafen but then I think these are some of the things ngamera ko banko president abe dabe tarra ko mi alon ko aba address la nyinan sango but also of course some security issues nga jele a lot of molu mi alon ko ka tara silo kan ke attack dol bi jele mi alon ko barmol soto je dol bi jele ke fafan ke mol attack le solo kono sunyaro la nim fengol nyilbe mu kolliti mi alon ko de a big challenges Gambia banko kan jang andu njigidel ko president be diamula nyin kolale saimba batlale ngalon ne ko already national assembly member sign tending ibe konotole anu mol mi alon ko le nata mabe nim president o sita pour ka diamu mol ba bulalale pour ani mole kacha nga la moy dol fanan wo kola nga nala diamolu fango ka kunseseng be national assembly member sot la jenne mi alon ko ni be kacha la programme o kola ke nyinin ka president wala diamu ya je nyaadi le bari fo itolla problem on min be la constituency to photo nya president wala diamo ay tolla dulal male fami man ku jamal mi alan ko ni ba kacala jang. I think it's important president way ñili be consider ni ñim back wel famo mi alon ko lebe kerim fondinke jamal bi jele mi alon ko bita kam ba ko jamal bi jele mi alon ko tuta ba kono jamal bi jele mi alon ko filtale mol mela mol jele hani sign so ñil be mu kolleti annung right now na economy be statement to science intenti jamal ka mam bete inflation fengol dabe la fa kan and everything jikitale ko banko president be ñil be mention na ala address to b and jikitale ko National Assembly members fananga. I'm not sure for it will be able to attend, but I believe Jamal ba attend and they will listen carefully. Ni pare daga minke bank ay buko min karang ikadi it will be lale National Assembly member puru ni etaya read sokono o ni nata next debate la ngala kala mundi puru isa ko kacha banko president wa mimfo and vice president wa jama wala in fact always atele kana pour que questionol jabi I'm not sure. I don't think so. I don't think so there will be any different. But jigitale ko the vice president binale pour que questionol jabi mi alon ko National Assembly members wala be nyantawle nyinin kala mansa kundala kola why rawda dafa melni still now ñu ngi ci National Assembly bi dafa melni njiti réew mi His Excellency President Adama Barrow ñëw na already jamono ji def na parade be pare jël na some pictures with members jël nañ group photo duga na ak speaker bi dafa am teta speaker bi mooy dañoo toog bala muy duga ci chambers bi National Assembly chambers bi then mu address nation bi
jërëjëf Buba comme Aline loi réew mi moo jox sarta bi président Adama Barrow pour at bu nekk muy ñëw si pencum ndawi réew mi di waxtaan ak doomi réew mi ndi xam nañ ne du mun a dem fekka ku nekk sa kër wala mu dem fekka ku nekk sa tundu foo nekk waaye loi bi jox na ko ndigal ne nam dee ñëw si pencum ndawi réew mi mu toog waxtaan ak nit yi ndi xam nañ ne fii gox bu nekk yaa ngi am representative fii nii si biir National Assembly bi te loolu noonu moom su ñëwee jàllale kàddoom bi fii nii si pencum ndawi réew bi ñooñu tamit loi comme ñooñu tamit war nañoo jël lifin boobu noonu dem si seen electorate si waxtaan ak gaay gis nañ ne président Adama Barrow moom ñëw na ganam yu war a ñëw tamit ñëpp dugga si nañ fii si National Assembly bi right now député yi tamit ñu ngi toog di xaar président Adama Barrow pour mu dugga si biir chambers bi mu toog waxtaan ak gaay fu mu nekk nii nag comme noo ko waxee rek mu ngi si office speaker war a am titatek ak moom toog jàkkaarloo waxtaan ak moom den balaa gaay di ko escort mu door a dem si biir chambers bi xam nañ ne at bu nekk su ñëwee daf dee waxtaanee lu nekk di dox si biir Gambie bi ak tamit dina waxtaanee tolof yoo xam ne yooyu ñoo romba fii nii si at bu romba bi ak tamit yan développement la His Excellency yan développement la amalal doomi réew mi xam nañ ne su ñëwee si wàllum béy bi président Adama Barrow dina si waxtaanee ndi Gambie xam nañ ne béy bi lañ fi am moo tayit saa yu nit yi waxee rek dañ dee wax béykat yi wala saa yu nit yi waxee rek dañ dee wax wàllum béy bi last year His Excellency président Adama Barrow si waxtaanam bi wax na ne su ñëwee si wàllum agriculture dinañ isi policy bu nga xam ne dina liggéey lu bari su ñëwee si wàllum mbéy bi te ren gis nañ ne moo nekk fertilizer bu mu ñëwee comme niñ ko doon waxee si wàllum angale His Excellency président Adama Barrow nguuram bi wàññi nañ price yi fertilizer bi waaye lu mu fa wàññi dafa néew lu bari ñu bari ñu ngi koy complain ndik $50 la fa wàññi gis nañ ne opposition leaders yi génn nañ yu si mel ni Mama Kandeh génn na wax na ne $50 bi dafa ndaw torop pour His Excellency président Adama Barrow nguuram bi wàññi ko su ñëwee si wàllum fertilizer bi buuba yaa ngi ko doon wax ne drogue bi nu mu nekk di def suñu ndawi réew mi nekk na loo xam ne daf ñu tiital torop fu mu nekk nii ku nekk doomi réew mi wala koo xam ne sax yaa ngi si biir réew mi Gambie bi drogue bi nu mu nekk di defee suñu ndaw yi dafa jara tiit te ñu bëri ñu ngi tiit te ñu ngi expect ne His Excellency président Adama Barrow su duggee si biir cemba bi dina ko waxtaanee su ñëwee si wàllum sécurité bi tamit ndég gis nañ ne weer yu romba wala at bu romba sécurité lapses yu bëri am na gis nañ ne léegi ku nekk daf dee wane maa ngi si biir Gambia waaye I am not safe ndik moo des yu bëri romb na fii gis nañ ñu bëri ñoo xam ne dañ dem fekk gaay ba gaay seen wàllum fuñ dëkka ñu rey gaay loolu noonu yëpp gis nañ ko fii nii te xam nañ ne His Excellency président Adama Barrow su duggee xamaanguñ lan la isi ren ndik year before last year statement sami lu fa comme differences nekkul foofu noonu lu bëri so this year ñu ngi expect because COVID-19 romba na mu ngi ñëwaat de waaye let's say moom adresse bu mooy ñëw adresse dafa fekk ne Covid-19 wàññeeku na bu baax ndig gis nañ ne si previous statement sami ñoom tolof bi fu ñu ko dee teg moo nekk Covid-19 bi ak Ukraine war bi daf dee affect suñu économique bi lu bëri this year nag ñu ngi expect a little bit different su ñëwee si wàllum Covid-19 bi ak Ukraine war bi tamit ndig xam nañ ne loolu su nekkutee nekk dem na sori nañu buuba
wax nga dëgg still now di wax gaay na rek si National Assembly bi lañ nekka foo xam ne tey His Excellency the President dafa address nation dafa mel ni dafa waxa askan wi lii nag comme Ramatulaay nu mu ko waxee lii loi la boo xam ne mu ngi si suñ loi réew mi ne président bi every year dafa war a ñëw jàkkaarloo ak nit yi pour wax leen programme sam yoo xam ne am na ko wala yoo xam ne def na ko si year bi waaye ak loo xam ne mu ngi ko ñëw def jafe-jafe yu mu nekk di am yëpp na ko wax na laal si ministry yëpp from the Ministry of Interior, Ministry of Fisheries, Ministry of Digital Media, Communication, Defense and all the ministries.
Even moom si boppam office of the President, office of the Vice President.
Definitely nañ laal everything pour ñu wax ko askan wi waaye this year nag xamaanguñ président bi lu moo wax comme Ramatulaay nu mu ko waxee rek last year laaloon na all these ministries ak problèmes yoo xam ne ñu ngi ko jànkuwanteel waaye nit luñ naka di wax moo nekk gisuñ changes yu bari si yoo xam ne xew na si problèmes yoo xam ne Gambien si ñu ngi ko jànkuwanteel waaye this year expect nañ ne nawa si mbiri drogue bi because gis nañ ne drogue bi mu ngi rëy yut yu bëri report bu génna comme ni ma ko waxee rek si soose ak angale am na report boo xam ne génna na démba report bi mu ngi wone ne kus kese rey na 11 people dafa mel ni loolu dafa bëri te dafa mel ni civil youth suñu rëy yëpp si diir bu gàtta la leen rëy so which is very bad so foog nañ ne président bi suy génna pour wax a askan wi this is an emergency issue dafa war a nekk loo xam ne na ko waxtaane pour Gambian si mun si moytu pour ñu bàyyi because président su waxi nit yi da nga dee am kaddu boobu nit yi dañ la di mun a déglu so c'est concern boo xam ne foog nañ ne président bi na ko adresse waaye tamit nekkul loolu kese security nag xam nañ ne moom wax na si since 2022 because this is the 8th suma fàttali ko this is the 8th State of National Address for President Adama Barrow 2023 was 7 so this one is the 8th so wax na si most of the time security because ba mu ñëwee gis nañ ne there were a lot of security issues wax na ne a lot of time ne moom government bi du caaxaane security waaye gis nañ ne loolu du dee change dara we have a lot of security issues gis nañ nit yoo xam ne dañ leen di attaque seen biir kër yi gis nañ ñoo xam ne dañ di attaque si mbedda yi gis nañ ñoo xam ne sax dañ si dee jëlee gaañu yu bari ak ñoo xam ne tamit dañ dee rëy si attaque yi nii so fana président bi expect nañ ne tey na address some of these things also as far as security is concerned nguuram bi ban jéego lañ am pour ñu solve security issues yoo xam ne ñu ngi ko am Gambia fii nii foog naa ne président bi dafa mel ni dugana already si chambers bi so we are going inside the National Assembly and listen to the proceedings there.
We beseech thee to behold with thy abundant favor us thy servants, whom thou hast been pleased to call to the performance of important trusts in this land. Let thy blessing descend upon us here in this house assembled. Grant us that we may treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberations in so just and faithful a manner to promote thy honor and glory, to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of this country and of those whose interests thou hast committed to our care. Amen. Communication from the chair. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of the Gambia, Mr. Adama Barrow. Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic, my Lord, the Chief Justice of the Gambia, and Justices of the Superior Courts, former Vice Presidents here in present, former Deputy Speakers of the National Assembly, Honorable Deputy Speaker and honorable members of the National Assembly, honorable Cabinet Ministers here in present, former members of the National Assembly, members of the Diplomatic and Consular Corps, Secretary General and Head of the Civil Service, Chief of Staff, Office of the President, regional governors, non-mayors and chairpersons of area councils, service chiefs, leaders of political parties, senior government officials, venerable religious leaders, our distinguished invited guests, the press, and all other protocols duly observed. Honorable members, in accordance with Section 77(1) of the 1997 Constitution and Order 21 of the Standing Orders, His Excellency Mr. Adama Barrow, President of the Republic of the Gambia, is here today to attend and address a sitting of the National Assembly on the condition of the Gambia, the policies of the government, and the administration of the state for the 2024 legislative year. We are here together as a nation to witness a significant event in the life of our democracy. That is the President's State of the Nation address. In this regard, I wish to extend on behalf of both sides of the Assembly a warm welcome to His Excellency the President to his hallowed chamber. Your Excellency, we are deeply honored by your presence and look forward to your insightful address, which will provide us with an overview of the current state of our nation, the progress we have made, and the promises and challenges that lie ahead. Honorable members, His Excellency's presence in this Assembly today is also significant in our parliamentary calendar. It enables honorable members of the legislature to have the opportunity to hear from the head of the executive on the condition of the Gambia, the policies of the government, and the administration of the state. Traditionally, this particular sitting of the Assembly attracts Gambians and people from all walks of life. Therefore, on behalf of both sides of the Assembly, I welcome you all. Your presence underscores the importance of this occasion and the collective commitment we share in shaping the future of our country. On that note, honorable members, I wish to once again welcome His Excellency the President to the National Assembly in fulfillment of his constitutional mandate. I thank you all. Clerk, can we proceed?
Motion. State of the Nation Address 2024 by His Excellency, the President of the Republic of the Gambia.
Honorable members, I have the singular honor and privilege to invite His Excellency, President Adama Barrow, President of the Republic of the Gambia, to deliver his speech. Your Excellency.
Honorable Speaker of the National Assembly, honorable members of the National Assembly, Your Excellency, the Vice President, Your Worship, the Chief Justice of the Gambia, Excellencies, former Vice Presidents, Excellencies, members of the Diplomatic and the Consular Corps, senior public officials and service chiefs, party leaders, honorable religious leaders, distinguished personalities, ladies and gentlemen. In accordance with Section 77(1) of the Constitution, it is my honor to address this august body on the country's current state of affairs. The address provides an update on my administration's performance during the 2023 calendar year, with focus on government policies, programs, legislative frameworks, and plans for the future. This will be linked to our national plans and the influence of global developments on the nation. Departing from the traditional sector-by-sector presentation, my address today is thematized around the productive and social sectors respectively. It is concise but gives a clear picture of the nation's development trend. With this short introduction, I will proceed to briefly situate our foreign policy within the global context, the Gambia's foreign policy context. Honorable Speaker, we are in trying circumstances globally, facing geopolitical events that breed distrust, enmity, and mounting despair to generate unified action for global peace and stability. There is widespread unrest around the globe, and the presence of jihadists, terrorists, and rebels in the Sahel and in other parts of Africa continues to undermine progress towards democracy and development on the continent. West Africa in particular has recently experienced mixed fortunes with democratic transitions in Ivory Coast, Nigeria, and lately Senegal. In contrast, military disruptions in Guinea-Conakry, Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali have threatened constitutional order in the region. Linking the international context to our national circumstances, with specific reference to our foreign policy, the Gambia remains committed to tackling global challenges to reinforce multilateralism, democracy, and promotion of global solidarity. To safeguard our sovereignty and socio-economic ambitions, my government will steadfastly promote a foreign policy aligned with our national interests. Specifically, keen focus will remain cast on debt relief, climate financing, equitable trade, and fulfillment of the sustainable development goals to ensure prosperity. Above all, security, peace, stability, and development will remain at the center of our engagements. Mr. Speaker, our resolve is to intensify engagements with global and regional bodies such as the UN, AU, ECOWAS, and the OIC to achieve our national development goals. In the process, we will pursue the renewal of the Gambia's membership in the United Nations Human Rights Council and the African Union Peace and Security Council for 2 years. As evidence of our increasingly successful foreign policy, the UN Secretary General has declared the Gambia eligible to continue receiving funding amounting to $30 million US from the UN Peace Building Commission for an order 5 years. Closely related to our international visibility is the 15th OIC Summit we successfully hosted last month, during which I became chairman of the organization for the next 3 years. The summit has added great impetus to our international prominence. I re-echo my gratitude to all Gambians and international partners who contributed to the successful hosting of the summit. Proudly for us, the event was rated as one of the most successful summits in the history of the organization. At the bilateral level, we aim to deepen relationships with our partners and explore new fronts that would benefit the nation. The establishment of 2 new embassies in Europe and 1 in Asia, as approved by this distinguished assembly, is a move in that direction. As confirmation of our growing friendship and bilateral relations around the world, 30 diplomats presented their letters of credence to me during last year. In strengthening good neighborliness, we hosted the 3rd biannual Senegal or Gambian Presidential Council in August 2023 and the maiden walking visit of the new Senegalese president last April. Honorable Speaker, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is in the process of validating its draft foreign service regulation and draft posting policy, in addition to a foreign service bill which will be submitted to the Cabinet for review and approval. These are part of broader efforts to reposition our foreign policy, streamline foreign service operations, and enhance the professionalism and efficiency of our foreign service. Our objective at home and abroad would fail without a strong economy, reliable human resource, and the required infrastructure programs and development efforts. I will therefore turn attention to the economy before moving on to the productive sector that sustains it. The economy. Honorable Speaker, in 2023, the Gambian economy surpassed the projected growth rate for sub-Saharan Africa and stood at 5.3%. This resulted from our commitment to economic growth and prosperity, reducing inflation and our debt vulnerability while maintaining prudent fiscal policy. Over the years, we have been implementing a series of public financial management reforms. These are reflected in such initiatives as the updating of the 2014 Public Finance Act and formulation of a new public procurement bill. We have also rolled out the Integrated Financial Management Information Systems, IFMIS, to all local government authorities, created the State-Owned Enterprise Commission, and enacted the Anti-Corruption Act 2023. The reforms seek to increase fiscal transparency and accountability. As a welcome development, the International Monetary Fund has approved a new $100 million extended credit facility arrangement with the Gambia, thereby further supporting our economic recovery and structural reforms. In addition, different from the $25 million threshold program to support our electricity and river transport development endeavors, the Gambia has been selected to develop a $300 million development compact with the United States through its MCC. Strategically, we recently launched a $1 billion recovery-focused National Development Plan, YIRWA 2023-2027, which builds on the progress made during my first term in office. I am optimistic that the economy will continue to grow stronger. Agriculture and natural resources. Honorable Speaker. Agriculture and our natural resources are crucially important feeders of our economy. As one of the productive sectors, agriculture in the country did not perform badly in 2023 season. It benefited from a favorable weather and timely government interventions, such as provision of free plowing services, free seeds, and heavily subsidized fertilizers for many farmers. Consequently, cereal production increased by 21%, rice by 27%, maize by 25%, millet by 14%, and sorghum by 17%. The cash crops also increased those groundnuts by 12%, cowpeas by 26%, findo by 9%, and sesame by 6%. In all, last year, agriculture contributed 25.5% of the GDP. This indicates a slight decrease from 25.7% in 2022, translating into a decrease of 0.2 percentage points. In the 2023-2024 season, the government allocated $1.5 billion for purchase of groundnuts, acquiring about 38,669 metric tons. These mark a significant increase over 10,000 metric tons purchased in the previous season. Looking ahead to the 2024-25 cropping season, we plan to bring 5,000 hectares under rice cultivation, a target that could rise substantially if 10 registered commercial farmers in the scheme commence cultivation. In support of the National Food Security Drive, government will procure 180 tractors and 20 rotavator boats for year-round deployment. Additionally, we will enhance rice processing within the country's irrigated hubs through irrigated equipment training processors and expanding irrigation facilities. This year, my government will distribute rice, groundnut, maize, and bean seeds to farmers to help them boost production. There is already enough fertilizer in country, and it will be sold to the farmers at a subsidized price at different locations across the country. To improve financial exclusivity, we plan to extend matching grant funds to microfinance institutions that operate close to the communities at grassroots levels. We also plan to integrate modern technologies like ICT for internet banking and mobile phones into the farming communities and establish at least 5 agricultural insurance schemes to mitigate risks in agricultural lending. These schemes will be managed through public-private partnership. Among many other interventions, the Gambia Agricultural Transformation Program, which seeks to bolster food and nutrition security through sustainable management of our natural resources, will strengthen both the public and private sector across the agricultural value chain. Fisheries and water resources, Honorable Speaker. This is another productive sector that contributes to the economy. Due to several factors, however, the total revenue collected from the fisheries sector decreased from $131,595,269 in 2022 to $110,802,912 in 2023, representing a decrease of $20,792,357, or about 15.8%. To get the most from the sector, my government is actively reviewing its fishing licensing regime to increase protection for artisanal fishers and ensure fair and sustainable management of our fisheries resources. Consequently, the Ministry of Fisheries, Water Resources and National Assembly Matters has initiated the construction of 20 fishing boats with fishing equipment to enhance the livelihood of the youth and women and reduce illegal migration. Also, the ministry is constructing fish ponds in Kuloro through a funding partnership with the EU to boost fish production. The $25 million Climate Resilience Fishery Initiative for the Livelihood Improvement Project, funded by the Green Climate Fund, aims to conserve and protect fisheries resources while strengthening the climate resilience of fishing communities. To minimize post-harvest losses and promote the hygiene and quality fish products, during the period under review, the ministry built 2 fishing landing platforms in Gunjur and Tanje and constructed access roads linking these sites to markets. Mr. Speaker, the Gambia has made significant strides in improving equitable access to safe drinking water, with 90% of the population provided with better water resources in 2023, up from 86% in 2010. I must observe, however, the figure stands at 83% in rural areas. Additional efforts are needed to bridge the gap by increasing access to safe drinking water in our rural communities. In particular, last year, we implemented a mini borehole drilling project with a budget of $10 million for the government local fund, from the government local fund. 15 communities now have access to safe and high-quality drinking water through the project. In collaboration with the African Development Bank Group and Japan, my government targets to install 130 large solar-powered pipe water systems to benefit 162 communities and an estimated 280,000 people. To this end, 20 boreholes were inaugurated in December 2023, 55 have been installed, and the remaining 55 will be completed in 2025. My government will not relent in sustaining these efforts. Transport, roads, and infrastructure. Honorable Speaker. Inspired by the principle that roads connect people and foster prosperity, our commitment to develop comprehensive transport infrastructure remains unwavering. In accordance with our Recovery-Focused National Development Plan, RFNDP, significant progress has been made in both urban and rural roads development. The Barton-Harding Highway and its feeder roads, for example, are near completion. The Rural Roads Program, stretching 365 kilometers and fully funded by the national budget, is advancing smoothly. In 2023, Mr. Speaker, we completed the Salum, Nyanija, and Sabasanjal roads. By the end of 2024, we expect to complete Kiang West roads, Nyomi Hakalang, and a significant portion of the 365 kilometers of roads nationwide. On water transportation, we are concluding a concession contract with Albrak Company Limited, which will further enhance port efficiency. The contract includes development of a new deep-sea port in Sanya. Apart from refurbishing all ferries, we have procured 2 new ferries and are awaiting their delivery. These initiatives will guarantee reliable and safe ferry services on the Banjul-Bara route. In addition, we have partnered with the private sector to upgrade the Banjul shipyard to support the ferries as well as other craft and industrial fishing vessels. This will contribute to boosting skills development and job opportunities. The transport sector contributes significantly to the economy. The Gambia Port Authority, for instance, recorded revenue collection of $1,563 million in 2023, representing a 2% increase over $1,534 million collected in 2023. Similarly, the authority registered a 20.4% increment in its gross profit in 2023 of $1,199 million compared to $996,134 million in 2022. Unfortunately, due to high operational costs and the negative impact of the exchange rate on the authority's revenue, a marginal increase of just 2% in revenue was recorded for the year. Honorable Speaker, in the area of aviation and maritime operations, aside from undertaking comprehensive reforms to align operations with international standards and best practice, we are inviting our human capital for a viable skilled workforce. In this respect, 23 students are currently sponsored at the Regional Maritime University in Ghana, studying various engineering fields. All the first cohort of students graduated with distinction. Mr. Speaker, to conclude, the Gambia Transport Service Company has significantly improved public transport, offering safe, affordable, and reliable transportation options across the country. Tourism and culture. Honorable Speaker. The tourism sector has demonstrated remarkable resilience, growing in tourism arrivals over the past 3 years and making a significant contribution to the Gambia's economic development. In 2023, there was a 13% increase in tourism arrival, totaling to 206,836 compared to 182,795 in 2022. The increase in arrival has translated into revenue increase from 168 million point 19 in 2022 to 333 million point 12 in 2023. These reflect a robust recovery and growth in the sector. In view of the importance of the tourism sector, we will not relent in improving our promotion strategies, infrastructure, products and service to improve access to major hotels along the tourism development area. Therefore, 3 road projects are near completion. Other plans include further promoting community-based ecotourism and domestic tourism. In the cultural sector, the Ministry of Tourism established the National Endowment Fund for Arts and Culture in 2023. Following cabinet endorsement, the fund will be operational in 2024 to provide a steady source of support for Gambians' arts and culture programs. On legislation, the Gambia has ratified 2 major UNESCO conventions, namely the 2001 Convention on the Protection of Underwater Heritage and the 1970 Convention against illicit transfer of cultural goods. Both became effective on 10 February 2024. Trade, industry, regional integration, and employment. Honorable Speaker, through the Ministry of Trade, Industry, Regional Integration, and Employment, my administration remains committed to enhancing trade, fostering private sector development, propelling industrialization, and ensuring the effective functioning of the labor market. Recent measures to mitigate external shocks thus include stabilizing prices and ensuring the availability of essential food commodities. Furthermore, we now give priority to vessels carrying essential goods to avoid undue charges, and we provide subsidies for flour and fuel. We also engage with the central bank to ensure foreign exchange availability for essential commodity suppliers. In 2023, the administration negotiated with the government of India and secured a waiver for rice imports on a concessional basis, with a new extension granted for 2024. This incorporates an allocated quota of 150,000 metric tons for the Gambia. Discussions to include sugar in this waiver support are progressing. In collaboration with the Ministry of Finance, the country secured a $50 million trade finance facility from Badia to support the importation of essential food commodities and fuel. The facility is to facilitate continuous availability and affordability of these commodities. Mr. Speaker, the People's Republic of China granted the Gambia duty-free quota-free market access in 2017 for products like groundnuts, cashew, sesame fish, and cassava. In 2023, this coverage was extended to include 98% of the Chinese tariff. To take advantage of the African Continental Free Trade Area, we have launched the Green Industrial Transformation through Special Economic Zones and Agropoles program. The objective is to establish a climate-resilient, sustainable special economic zone and 3 agropoles to accelerate manufacturing and agricultural transformation. I am happy to add that there is funding from the African Development Bank for a feasibility study to establish a special economic zone along the Senegambia Bridge. An Indian consulting firm has been recruited to conduct the study. Also, we have secured $100,000 from the ECOWAS Commission to modernize the Wellingaraba-Lumo for cross-border trade facilitation. In the area of industrialization, the construction of a special economic zone along the Senegambia Bridge corridor is underway, with significant investments projected to create over 1,000 jobs. In the same vein, the Gambia Standards Bureau has developed over 100 national standards to improve market access for Gambian products, and a food testing laboratory is under construction to support national quality infrastructure. The government has also launched the new employment policy 2023-2028 and enacted a revised Labour Act to enhance employment conditions and productivity. These efforts reflect our commitment to strengthening the economy, protecting consumer rights, and ensuring fair competition. Besides this act, there is a legal methodology bill to replace the Ways and Measures Act of 1977. Mr. Speaker, the Gambia Competition and Consumer Protection Corporation administered 116 consumer cases in 2023 and recovered substantial amount of money through its alternative dispute resolution mechanism. Despite this, there are plans to amend the Competition and Consumer Protection Act and develop a merger review regulation framework. Relative to employment, a national labor force survey to assess employment trends and challenges that have been conducted. We are equally working hard to equip our youth and essential skills for gainful employment and entrepreneurship. Likewise, we have signed bilateral agreements with Saudi Arabia and the UAE to facilitate secured and transparent employment opportunities for our youth abroad. These efforts are aimed at building our trade capacity, improving labor market conditions, and supporting the nation's economic growth. They will also contribute to realizing our target of creating 150,000 jobs opportunities over a 5-year period. Petroleum and Energy, Honorable Speaker. The Ministry of Petroleum and Energy has been actively engaged in issues of access, affordability, and sustainable utilization of energy resources through regulation and various programs and projects. Inspired by the government's Energy Roadmap 2021-2040, the National Water and Electricity Company, NAWEC, has embarked on transforming energy and water provision nationwide. The roadmap targets universal access to electricity by 2025, including specific national integrated water resources management targets. Notably, NAWEC is implementing a significant electricity access project to connect over 800 communities across the country to electricity. In a major development for the Gambia's energy sector, the company commissioned a 23-megawatt solar power plant in Jambur. This significant addition to the grid is expected to generate more clean energy and reduce operational costs. In the geological sector, the focus remains on the sustainable use of mineral resources essential for the construction industry. Specifically, the demand for sand in 2023 exceeded 1 million cubic meters due to extensive infrastructural development. Although the mining sector generated $172,962,922 as revenue during the reporting period, sand, gravel, and other heavy mineral concentrates contributed significantly to this achievement. The Gambia National Petroleum Corporation, GNPC, continues to pursue energy security by exploring and developing the country's petroleum resources. It has engaged in power purchase agreement and partnership for crude oil exploration and capacity development with entities like the Nigeria National Petroleum Corporation and Guinea-Conakry's SONAP. The NPC is also participating in the Nigeria-Morocco gas pipeline project, which aims to utilize West Africa's natural gas resources and provide alternative export routes to Europe. Be assured that the government will continue to pursue the profitable utilization of the country's energy and geological resources. Pertaining to water provision, a major water project under the OIC Infrastructure Development Program, valued at $22.5 million US, seek to increase water production accessibility to underserved areas. This initiative is aligned with the global goal on access to clean and safe drinking water. Still, NOAC is implementing an emergency water project funded by the World Bank for $13 million US. The project incorporates drilling boreholes to expand water access in the Greater Banjul area and the North Bank region. Environment, climate change, and natural resources, Honorable Speaker. On climate risk management, the Ministry of Environment, Climate Change, and Natural Resources is currently developing a legal framework to oversee the carbon trading market in the Gambia, aiming to better manage climate risk. In this regard, the Environmental Impact Assessment Program is to ensure that projects undergo environmental and social screening before implementation. The NEA remains steadfast in taking the lead to protect the environment and ascertain the security of everyone in the country. To succeed, the agency is completing a state-of-the-art laboratory to analyze chemical and soil samples, among other functions. The facility will support informed decision-making and timely action to protect the environment and public health. Recent cabinet approvals include the NEMA Amendment Bill 2022, the Hazardous Chemicals and Pesticides Management Act Amendment Bill, and the Waste Bill. Their enactment will significantly strengthen efforts to tackle environmental challenges. The Forestry and Wildlife Management. The Department of Forestry has supported 620 communities to enter into preliminary community forest management agreements. This has increased the total under community schemes for 45,237 hectares. In line with my government's position on planting trees, efforts in this area extended to seed distribution of indigenous tree species and the planting of 468,617 trees across the country. Overall, there has been a significant expansion of protected areas in the country, and the destination of the Forest Man Biosphere Reserve is awaiting UNESCO approval. Added to this, the EU LIFE project has been approved for implementation in 2024. Complementing this initiative is an ongoing large-scale mangrove restoration project in various regions. These comprehensive measures reflect the government's devotion to environmental stewardship and sustainable development. Population and social protection, Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen. Through the Office of the Vice President, our national population policy has been updated and a strategic plan for 2024-2028 developed. The policy is to leverage the Gambia's youthful population for economic growth and sustainable development in line with YILWA, the Sustainable Development Goals, and AU Agenda 2063. Mr. Speaker, the National Population Bill, which is crucial for establishing the Commission, its Secretariat and Observatory, has Cabinet approval for submission to this Assembly. The National Social Protection Secretariat, NSPS, has contributed the development of the Gambia Social Registry. This is an integrated database enhancing social protection services by effectively supporting the poor and vulnerable. The system has already facilitated identification of beneficiaries for 5 significant programs. Among these are the flagship NAFA cash transfer intervention and the World Food Program 2023 lean season response. Happily, the Gambia Social Registry is transforming social protection services to the people, and we hope to achieve nationwide coverage by the end of the year. Even at this early stage, the registry has supported 8 programs that include those run by NGOs, development partners, and various government ministries and departments. Honorable Speaker, let me officially announce the government-funded initiative of mainstreaming social assistance to vulnerable households through the Family Strengthening Program. The NSPS has led this groundbreaking initiative through a group of multi-government stakeholders. The program aims to enhance both the welfare of our citizens by increasing access to essential goods and services and fostering investments in human and productive capital. Currently, over 2,000 people benefit from the program, leaving no one behind. To lay the foundation for a sustainable social assistance sector, the National Social Protection Bill, now with the legislature, is to establish a robust framework on social protection rights through a social protection fund that will expand government support to the most vulnerable groups. Following the 2019 agreement with ECOWAS, the establishment of the National Early Warning and Response Mechanism Coordinating Center has been initiated under the Vice President's office. A bill to formalize it will be presented to the National Assembly. With Cabinet approval of the National Nutrition Policy 2021-2025, the National Nutrition Agency, supported by UNICEF and the World Food Program, has formulated a common resource framework to monitor nutrition programs and activities. In addition, to combat micronutrient deficiencies, the National Nutrition Agency launched a food fortification and biofortification strategy that targets critical deficiencies among women of childbearing age and children under 5. Last year, the NAFA program under the Gambia Social Safety Net supported by $30 million grant from the World Bank, ended successfully with a significant impact. It has benefited 16,966 households across the poorest districts. To build on this success, the program will be expanded to include an additional 20,000 households. To protect public health and facilitate both national and international food trade, the Food Security and Quality Assurance is implementing its decentralization strategy by deploying food inspectors and safety officers at all national border points to ensure food safety in the country. A comprehensive country-wide food control system has thus been established. Mr. Speaker, the National Disaster Management Agency, NDMA, recently updated the National Disaster Management Policy and Strategy to address disaster risks. Preparedness activities, including drainage, cleaning, and waterway dredging, are underway in flood-prone areas. Last year, NDMA completed cash transfer to households affected by mild drought and collaborated with WFP to improve essential food supplies to disaster-affected and food-insecure households during the lean season. Land, regional government, and religious affairs. Honorable Speaker, land administration is indeed a matter of great concern to my government. We continue to have land disputes around the country that trigger tension and chaos. The trouble that erupted in Gunjur and Manduar and the land disputes in CRR and URR are typical examples. In the same way, the destruction of forest land and reserve or protected sensitive wetlands threaten the peace in some communities. Equally troubling are the communal boundaries and international border tension, thus requiring attention. All these have a negative impact on our flora and fauna, in accordance with the Banjul Declaration of 1977. Accordingly, the Ministry of Lands, Regional Government and Religious Affairs, with assistance from the World Bank, is formulating the country's first ever national land policy. The policy will introduce a land tenure system to ensure tenure security, equitable land access, and promote sustainable use of land resources. Also, it is designed to generate wealth, mitigate poverty, and reinforce resilience against environmental changes. In other development, the World Bank has allocated $10 million to support the development of a gender-sensitive, climate-informed national land policy to guide reforms in land tenure, governance, and administration. Meanwhile, the process has started to develop an automated land resources management system under the West Africa Coastal Area Resilience Project. The scheme is to contribute to diversifying the economy, securing land titles, and resolving ongoing land disputes by creating detailed maps and land use plans. Communication and digital economy. Honorable Speaker. The Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy and stakeholders have formulated policies, strategies, and regulations to steer the Gambia's digital evolution. Key instruments developed so far range from the Digital Economy Master Plan 2023, the Digital Addressing Policy, Fiber Protection Policy, and Open Data Policy to a digital strategy. For enhanced security and compliance, a registration system is equally in place to ensure that only authentic devices operate within the country. In collaboration with the Public Utilities and Regulatory Agency and the Gambia Revenue Authority, we have engaged SICPA, a company in South Africa, to implement a revenue assurance and tariff monitoring system. This system is to guarantee accurate taxation on both international and local voice traffic, including value-added services. Significant progress in e-government initiative has been made with the support of the World Bank through the West Africa Digital Integration Program. This involves rolling out a second submarine cable to speed up connectivity and provide crucial international redundancy for the Gambia. I have mandated the upgrading and rolling out of a national digital ID system, which will harmonize identification systems within the country and assign a unique identifier to every Gambian. The exercise will coincide with the expiration of the current ID card and driver's license scheme. Mr. Speaker, this year we plan to present the Malabo Convention to the National Assembly for ratification. Once enacted, it will strengthen collaboration to manage cross-border cyber security. To reposition GAMTEL and GAMCEL to achieve the target set by National Broadband Strategy and Policy, the World Bank has agreed to support the transition to allow private sector participation in the management and operation of GAMTEL through a special proposed vehicle partnership and outright sale of GAMCEL. Cabinet has accepted this public-private partnership arrangement and will appoint a transaction advisor to assist the government during the transaction process. Information, Honorable Speaker, as required in Section 41 of the Access to Information ATI Act 2021. The process of appointing information commissioners is in progress, subject to confirmation by the National Assembly. 5 distinguished Gambians have been appointed. These appointments are necessary for the effective implementation of the ATI Act, which aim to address transparency and accountability. And currently the government is drafting the Information Media and Broadcasting Bill, IMB 2024. Among other objectives, it is to institute inclusively consultation and partnership with media establishments, both public and private. The bill will repeal the Information and Communication Act 2009. In the area of regulation, Mr. Speaker, the Public Utilities Regulatory Authority and the Ministry are finalizing the Broadcasting Contents Regulation 2024. These regulations, pending the enactment of the IMB Bill 2024, will promote responsible broadcasting practices and ensure compliance with existing laws. Once published, it is expected to play a significant role in shaping broadcasting standards in the Gambia. During the course of the year, the Ministry introduced a public engagement and popularization of the government agenda initiative. This content development and multimedia broadcasting initiative is to foster constructive national dialogue on national socio-economic development matters. Public service. Honorable Speaker, the Ministry of Public Service is undertaking a comprehensive review of the functions of ministries, departments, and agencies, MDAs, to identify institutional overlaps, competing mandates, and redundancies. Based on the employees of the government, ministries, and departments, the civil service is 49,893 strong, 27,940 are male, while 21,953 are female. An estimated total of 83,155 employees are in the entire public service. There are 8,427 vacant positions across the ministries. Most of them are in the ministries of Interior, Defense, and Health. The primary challenges in filling these vacancies include the lengthy recruitment process in the security sector and a shortage of qualified personnel in the health sector. The e-recruitment system also posed initial challenges, but it has since been improved. The ministry continues to implement the civil service reform program through various strategies and approaches. Principally, for effective management of the public service review of the Public Service Act 1991 is at the tail end. Mr. Speaker, the Civil Service Reform Program 2018-2027 is to devise a standard personal administration system and maintain discipline and ethical conduct in the civil service. Furthermore, it is to maintain proper remuneration packages and incentives for the civil servants, build adequate capacity for performance and accountability within the civil service, and institutionalize meritocracy. In this direction, a major reform undertaking is the centralization of pension administration under the PMO, as mandated by the Public Service Pension Act of 2022. As part of the reform program, the PMO is actively collaborating with stakeholders to enhance public service performance and service delivery through installation of biometric time attendance machines across all MDAs. This is to monitor attendance to address lateness and unauthorized absence from work. In its endeavor to build capacity and strengthen the civil service, the PMO awards scholarships to civil servants to address critical skills and knowledge gaps within the public service. Aligned with the Recovery Focus NDP, the ministry regularly hosts quarterly retreats for permanent secretaries to reinforce interdepartmental coordination. Beyond this, the Program for Accelerated Community Development, coordinated by the Department of Strategy, Policy and Delivery in collaboration with the UNDP, was launched to deliver essential services to rural communities, targeting clean water, electricity, and agricultural resources is progressing. This initiative is an offshoot of our commitment to inclusive development as outlined in the Recovery Focus National Development Plan 2023-2027 and the Sustainable Development Goals. Honorable Speaker, the Department of Strategy, Policy and Delivery works with the office in executing my oversight responsibilities through the National Economic Council and Presidential Delivery Forums. This internal accountability mechanism ensures effective and efficient service delivery. Honorable Speaker, all these initiatives are to make sure that the MDA is delivered as expected. The regular MDA presentations conducted in my office is evidence of this commitment. The government's objective is to create a more effective and efficient public service system that can meet the needs of our citizens and propel the nation's development forward. National security. Mr. Speaker, as a nation, our survival and progress depend on our security and peace. Hence the significance of the ongoing security sector reform, SSR. I am pleased to state that the SSR is progressing and we are committed to seeing it through. The Office of the National Security, through the National Security Advisor, appointed to coordinate all security institutions, leads the SSR. So far, the office has coordinated new policies and strategies that include 17 policing policies and standard operating procedures. The Police Act of 1949 has been updated and the new strategic frameworks formulated, such as the National Security Policy, National Security Council Bill, National Security Strategy, Security Sector Reform Strategy, and National Defense Policy. The GAF policy has also been revised. Additionally, Mr. Speaker, a draft veterans policy is now available to honor our veterans and attend to their concerns. For those in active service, there is a revised version of the terms and conditions of service for soldiers and officers. Later this year, my government will submit the Arms Trade Treaty instrument for accession to the United Nations Agency for membership. Alongside these developments, an immigration service bill is on the way to enhance border control and management. This is to be supported by significant technological investments that include the Migration Information and Data Analysis System. The draft bill for the Gambia Fire and Rescue Service, aimed at enhancing rescue and firefighting capabilities, is also lined up for enactment. The indication is that these comprehensive reforms have led to a significant reduction in human rights violations and abuses. Honorable Speaker, on the crime rate, whereas 4,894 crime cases were recorded in 2022, 4,567 were recorded in 2023, making a decrease of 6.6%. Out of these, 349 major crimes were recorded in 2022 and 272 in 2023, implying a decrease of about 22%. The decrease cuts across all crimes. In 2022, 1,002 traffic cases were registered, with 922 registered in 2023. The decline is linked to increased police vigilance and community policing strategies. Notwithstanding the decline in trend recorded during the last 2 years, the crime rate remains a grave concern to my government. The security services have been charged to be more vigilant. Hence, a highway patrol mechanism using modern technology is in place around the Greater Banjul area. Mr. Speaker, in 2023, we inaugurated 4 model police stations, fully equipped with modern equipment, and constructed 52 new accommodation rooms for the military in Farafenni. All were fully funded by government. To complement these efforts, we have commissioned 2 naval vessels, one funded by the government of the Gambia and another donated by the Kingdom of Spain. This development has facilitated collaboration with the Republic of Senegal to combat cross-border crimes. Mr. Speaker, the Gambia Immigration Department reported a significant increase in revenue performance in 2023. collecting over $200 million as opposed to $104,407,130 in 2022. The increase certainly indicates improved financial management and a more effective monitoring system. I must observe, nonetheless, that mitigation remains a critical matter globally. My government is thus exploring legal pathways for Gambian migrants through bilateral labor migration cooperation. I am grateful to the Gambian diaspora for their significant contributions to national development. Remittances in 2023 equal $735 million US. These funds contributed to supporting families back home and contributed to our national development efforts. Moving on, our stance against drug abuse is underscored by impressive seizures and convictions achieved by the Drug Law Enforcement Agency. The agency is working actively with partners to establish a rehabilitation center and has launched a drug demand reduction program to educate the people, particularly young persons, on dangers of drug abuse. In the correctional system, plans are underway to close the Mile 2 prison property and integrate it into the Banjul Port area. The entity will be transferred to Josuang or relocate to a new site in the Greater Banjul area. This is in accordance with the TRRC recommendations and various human rights reports. Women, children, and social welfare, Honorable Speaker. In 2023, the gender, women, and social welfare sector made substantial progress in several critical areas. They constructed shelter support services in Bakote to temporarily house survivors of gender-based violence, GBV. To accompany this, a GBV and Child Protection Helpline 199 has been integrated with the Gender Management Information System. In addition, the government has introduced a victim support fund to facilitate the rescue, rehabilitation, and reintegration of victims of sexual and gender-based violence. Mr. Speaker, my administration has reinforced the legal framework to protect the rights of women, girls, and persons with disability through several acts. In 2023, we established special courts specifically to handle cases related to child custody and other child-related issues. In monetary terms, the Ministry of Gender, Women, and Social Welfare, in collaboration with the National Social Protection Secretariat, has rolled out the government-funded initiative of mainstreaming social assistance amounting to $30 million. Earlier this year alone, the Women Enterprise Fund distributed funds to 8,400 women across the West Coast region, North Bank region, and Central River region. Also, financial assistance was extended to persons with disability from the Disability Fund. Honorable Speaker, noteworthy is the private member bill to repeal the Women's Amendment Act 2015, currently under review by the legislature. While awaiting its outcome, government remains committed to enforcing the prohibition of FGM in the Gambia. Moving forward, in 2024, we plan to expand the special court for children to handle more cases and set up a forensic lab dedicated to processing evidence in SGBV cases, specifically for rape. To uphold women's effective participation, I entreat the National Assembly to approve the private member bill which advocates a 30% governance quota for affirmative action. These efforts demonstrate our dedication to transforming the social welfare landscape by creating safer and more equitable space for women and children in the Gambia. Education, Honorable Speaker, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Education and skills acquisition are fundamental rights for every citizen. Therefore, my government places a high priority on the delivery of educational services. On progress made from 2022 to 2023, we registered significant infrastructure growth, including the construction of over 775 new classrooms and 1,030 toilets for both conventional and non-conventional schools. This expansion is geared towards making quality education affordable and accessible nationwide. Mr. Speaker, added to 12 new senior secondary schools established across the country, classrooms and facilities were rehabilitated in 10 schools from 2022 to 2024. There is a notable increase in enrollment, with enrollment at the early childhood care and development level rising from 130,952 in 2022 to 136,283 in 2023. Similarly, enrollment at all levels have all shown upward trends. We are grateful for the partnership with organizations such as the MRC Holland Foundation, the World Bank, and various UN agencies. Honorable Speaker, over the past 3 academic years, our post-secondary institutions, including TVET centers, recorded significant enrollment increase. In 2022, enrollment reached 36,791 students, compared to 34,894 in 2021. Although it dropped slightly in 2023 to 35,272, it still remains robust. Linked to this recently, I launched the Skill Innovation and Entrepreneurship SIE Fund to train our young people to utilize technical skills learned from the classroom is suitable for business ventures. Mr. Speaker, the number of graduates from our public institutions continues to increase in view of the increase in the number of higher education institutions in the country. The University of the Gambia alone impressively graduated 1,321 students in 2022 and 1,329 in 2023. Of course, its capacity to increase enrollment is constrained by several factors. The government supports students through scholarships, both within the country and abroad. In 2023, we supported 1,591 students with scholarships. This far, in 2024, we have already awarded 655 additional scholarships, totaling to 2,246 to promote equitable access to higher education opportunities. To ensure sustainable financing, a student loan scheme, research and innovation fund, and a tertiary and higher education trust fund will be rolled out soon. Each of them have cabinet approval and will be presented to this August Assembly. Mr. Speaker, in 2017, my administration has increased access to quality tertiary and higher education while promoting research, science, technology, and innovation. The Ndemban and Kanela Skills Training Centers are now in operations. They offer skills training in relevant areas, and students receive government scholarships to ease the financial burden on their parents. Despite these achievements, plans are underway to open additional skill centers across the country to meet the skills need at regional level and support local development. Honorable Speaker, significant strides have also been made in infrastructure development. The University of the Gambia's Faraba Banta campus is complete and in use. Completion of the construction of the new University of Applied Science, Engineering and Technology is expected this year. Legal and judicial matters. Honorable Speaker, since 2017, my administration has embarked on significant legal reforms. Our efforts include introducing a new constitution, and we remain committed to pursuing it this year. It is hoped that a referendum on the new constitution will be held in December 2024. Mr. Speaker, among items of legislation enacted in 2023 is the anti-corruption bill, apart from robust frameworks to criminalize corrupt practices. Specialized anti-corruption agencies has been strengthened to effectively enforce the law on corruption. The Victim Reparation Act aimed at providing reparations to victims of human rights violations from the past regime has been enacted. To ensure integrity and accountability in government, so has the Ban from Public Office Act been enacted to prevent individuals convicted of corruption or related offenses from holding public office. The former President's Act, also enacted, acknowledges the services of the nation's former leaders. It provides for their dignified post-presidential life while balancing it with the interests of the Gambian people. Honorable Speaker, another piece of legislation is the Commission of Inquiry Amendment Act 2023 to conduct thorough investigations and ensure justice and accountability within government. Several other bills are now under consideration. Among them are the Criminal Offences Bill and the Criminal Procedure Code Bill. Both are vital in building a more transparent and accountable society. Mr. Speaker, the Ministry of Justice is acting on the TRRC recommendations, particularly through the drafting of the Special Accountability Mechanism Bill and the Special Prosecutor's Office Bill. These bills are part of a broader strategy to establish a hybrid court in collaboration with ECOWAS. The court will apply both domestic and international law to TRRC cases. The establishment of the Special Criminal Division of the High Court, staffed by distinguished Gambian judges, marks a huge step towards presiding over TRRC-related cases impartially and effectively. As we continue to strengthen our legal and judicial systems, my government remains resolute in its commitment to upholding the rule of law and ensure justice for all Gambians. Youth and sports. Honorable Speaker, one of our objectives is to guide our youth towards entrepreneurship, employability, and leadership, foster widespread community and national sports participation, and strive for sportless international engagements. The period under review marks significant strides in this direction. The revision of several legislative frameworks and policies and the effective coordination of related programs across the nation via satellite institutions are notable aspects of this drive. On further legislative efforts, with support from the UN Peace Building Fund, the Ministry of Youth and Sports and their stakeholders have reviewed key acts and developed the new Gambia Sports Bill and Youth Bill, alongside proposed amendments to other existing acts. This will be presented to the National Assembly. The Youth and Sports Development Levy has facilitated the construction of sports facilities in strategic national locations and the implementation of the Youth and Sports Revolving Loan Fund. Several mini stadiums have been inaugurated, and there are more construction works and upgrading of facilities in the pipeline. Mr. Speaker, our national teams have proudly represented the nation in recent international competition, participating consecutively in the 2023-2024 African Cup of Nations and the All-Africa Games. We applaud them and wish them well in all future competitions. The Ministry of Youth and Sports is continually initiating skills development and employment opportunities for youth. The National Youth Service Graduate Program, launched last August to prepare young graduates for the job market, is a clear example. Another is the ongoing training in sustainable farming practices provided by the Gambia Songhai Initiative. In 2023, the President's International Award Scheme celebrated the achievements of 1,650 young recipients. Likewise, we continue to support needy training programs, which have benefited over 1,000 young people. The Bagway returnees, many of whom have started or scaled up their businesses, are participants in these programs. Health, Honorable Speaker. Without compromising on quality, my administration is dedicated to delivering healthcare services, putting emphasis on primary healthcare. efficient service delivery, a well-trained healthcare workforce, and strong health infrastructure. In this direction, we recently inaugurated 5 new state-of-the-art health facilities in Salikenye, Kianjali, Chismajau, Tumanna, and Mankawankunda, respectively. Construction of the Njau Health Center is progressing with satisfaction. With World Bank support, works are in progress on the National Food and Drug Quality Control Laboratory at Brusubi, a new biomedical engineering unit, and the National Emergency Treatment Center in Farato. Completion is expected this year. On a separate development, my government has allocated $250 million to procure essential medicines to readily ensure treatment of common communicable diseases, especially for maternal and child health. This aside, we continue to collaborate with the Global Fund to combat HIV and AIDS, tuberculosis, and malaria. Accordingly, we have successfully secured a grant of $23,415,791 to fight these diseases and to strengthen the health system from January 2024 to December 2026, thereby continuing efforts from the 2020-2023 funding cycle. Similarly, the Global Fund has committed $2.4 million to support the installation of a CT scan as part of our health system strengthening initiative. For 2024, an additional grant of $7,859,024 has been awarded to addressing unfunded demands in strategic areas that include tuberculosis mitigation, enhanced surveillance and data systems, oxygen and respiratory care laboratory systems, and diagnostic networks, as well as community health work programs. As we strive to meet and exceed the healthcare needs of the Gambian population, my government's commitment to enhancing healthcare infrastructure, expanding service delivery, and utilizing international partnerships remains unwavering. Meanwhile, our postgraduate medical and nursing training programs are making a significant difference by strengthening our healthcare workforce. My conclusion, Honorable Speaker, Honorable National Assembly members, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, my address clearly portrays a nation that is amazingly recovering from the devastation of a global pandemic that strangled the world economies. A nation in progress, and a nation whose development efforts are already yielding resounding results. The address confirms that my administration's development orientation is visibly realistic, widely approved, and hugely far-reaching. The 5.3% economic growth and the positive remarks in the latest World Bank report clearly support these conclusions. The OIC summit, our international ratings on press freedom and human rights, our growing bilateral relations, and the key positions we hold in ECOWAS, AU, and UN vividly demonstrate our acceptance on the world stage. And the restoration of the dignity of Gambians internationally. Nationally, the expansion of our development programs and unprecedented achievements in the provision of electricity, construction of roads, and access to clean water single out my administration as evidently development-oriented. Gambians who never had the privilege of gaining access to electricity, education, healthcare, or water facilities up-country now enjoy this right. All these together with the social protection program and other interventions that target the poor and vulnerable testify to our resolve to fight poverty and guarantee equitable distributions of the nation's resources. The scholarship packages, exceptional rise in the graduation rates of Gambians at degree level, the increase in tertiary and higher education institutions, and the corresponding expansion in curricular programs, as well as the employment and training initiatives for the youth and women illustrate our commitment and care for equitable development and participation in the economy. With such commitments, we have implemented well-defined and well-targeted programs that have transformed communities and regions across the country. The first set of roads constructed in the URR, right through to the OIC roads, are very well conceived and very timely executed projects. In this way, we are translating our national vision into realistic giant development strides. Our experience over the years provides an example of how an under-resourced small state can be rescued from underdevelopment to rapid progress, deliver from international isolation to global acceptance, and transform from a dictatorship to an acknowledged model of democracy. There is no turning back and no slowing down for us. We are development-oriented and consciously guided by the plight and needs and aspirations of the Gambian citizens, from whom we derive our legitimacy. We will continue to leverage the advantages that come with friendship and partnerships, built within the country and around the world, to contribute to global peace and progress, while pursuing the interests of the Gambian nation. Honorable Speaker, crime and the cost of living are indeed daunting challenges, because crime is a terrible hindrance to peace, security, and progress. We condemn all types of criminal activities. I assure the nation that we are determined to reduce both crime rate and the rising cost of essential commodities. Although we are aware of the complexities embedded in these two global threats to peace, the consequences of disrupting the peace, stability, and development of any community or any nation are obvious. Our progress lies in peace and our togetherness, as well as our capacity for development. All that my government solicits, therefore, is that our common identity and development aspiration unite us, commit us to the nation, and force us to work together, regardless of party affiliation, ethnic origin, or religious orientation. Honorable Speaker, I thank you, together with the Deputy Speaker and all the honorable members of this noble assembly, for our legislative achievements and the relationships established among us. I am equally grateful to our development partners, the international community, and the entire Gambian nation, for without their collective support and efforts, we will not come this far. I urge that the spirit of the last national dialogue The universal tenets of democracy and our common attributes and values as human beings govern us and keep us together on track towards lasting peace, security, and accelerated development for us all. Despite our successes, we will never heed less. No indifference to the concerns and needs of the people. Though steadfastly, we will use our resources, time, and energy to develop the country, raise the standard of living, and strive to meet the basic needs of the population. My belief is that investing today implies securing the future for ourselves and our offspring. Once we have the means to do so, we will continue investing in national development. And so shall we continue partnering with you as legislators to deliver on our development promises to the people. May the Almighty God be our helper. I thank you for coming.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Honorable members, any seconder? Honorable member for Kantora and Majority Leader.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Equally, I rise to second the motion and thank His Excellency for well-articulated and comprehensive speech delivered here in the Allo Chambers. Indeed, a true Democrat and defender of human rights.
Thank you. Honorable members, it has been moved and seconded that this Assembly do consider the motion on the State of the Nation Address 2024 delivered by His Excellency the President of the Republic. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Honorable members, the consideration and debate proper on the motion will be adjourned until Monday, 1st July 2024, to give honorable members ample time to read and digest the said address, where the Vice President and Cabinet Ministers are required to be present to witness the debate on the SONA. Before adjourning this sitting, please allow me, on behalf of both sides of the Assembly, and indeed on my own behalf, thank His Excellency, the President of the Republic of the Gambia, for his well-delivered and insightful State of the Nation address. The address has outlined the condition of the Gambia, the policies of the government, and the administration of the state as provided for in the Constitution. The statement also provided us the opportunity to reflect on the achievements and challenges we face as a nation and the urgent need for national unity, peace, and stability to propel the development needs and aspirations of our dear motherland. As the people's representatives, we are charged to do our best to ensure that the policies and programs outlined in His Excellency's address are scrutinized and debated with due diligence. It is also important for us to have a clear understanding of the government's policies, development programs, and aspirations. This will provide the National Assembly and its various committees with tools necessary to perform its legislative scrutiny and oversight functions. On that note, Your Excellency, I thank you once again for addressing this Assembly. In the same vein, I wish to express thanks and gratitude to His Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic, my Lord, the Honorable Chief Justice and Justices of the Superior Courts, all honorable members, and all distinguished invited guests for gracing this solemn occasion in our parliamentary calendar. By extension, on behalf of both sides of this August Assembly, I also wish to register our gratitude to all Gambians for the support and collaboration in our collective drive towards nation building. May I also thank the Office of the Clerk, the Task Force, and all those who in their various ways contributed immensely towards making this day a success. I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blesses and guides us all. Honorable members, before putting the question, may I kindly ask all guests to remain seated to allow His Excellency, the President, to take leave of the chambers, to be followed by the Vice President, Cabinet Ministers, and others. On that note, honorable members, I will now put the question. Be resolved that this August Assembly do stand adjourned until Monday, 1st July 2024. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. This Assembly now stands adjourned until Monday, 1st July 2024 at 10 a.m. prompt.
President Adama Barrow aliya moyle ala nying address mu fenneti mi alon ko kam dara ko a powerful tele demanding ale kuma kawlo moyle mi alon ko wole botabulu ay diamu jamba ke min keda marathon speech mi alon ko ke bi National Assembly jang diamuta of course na diamuta la police jamal la mi alon ko ala mansa kundal be wole ke kan anun binamil kela akam dala ko diamuta foreign policy la wolem Gambia banko kanjang ning banku dol temola mo jamal bi jele mi alon ko nyimu kolleti mi alon ko ka wosi bake ko na foreign policy mambete barakam tele ko diamuta kolale kala mansa kunda bela simfa nyalu jibela le purkaje ko na foreign policy Gambia banko kanjang pour sa bambandi no nyamen bari banko president fanan diamutale ni na ka funding kelu sembentu yandi akala mansa kunda be kulum wanyongoli ba kanne pour ka woldi funding ke wala Gambia banko kanjang nyimbe kala nyie mutaram kulungol le di pour ka je ko do si funding ke wol sembentu yandi pour baku e mialon ko e kata wala pour wosi talano nyamen nyindabe kol kono fana mialon ko president aya fo ala diamo kono kabring abe diamo kan banko mole bi bari adiamu telephone ko jio mu fenneti mi alon kala mansa kunda ya di Gambia non le la ko bari kemo keme sidula tan konon to be say jio so de mi alon ko senatale andu mosa minnole nyim fananda be kol kono le mi alon ko banko president ya fole bari ala bebi min keda infrastructure di wolem silolti mi alon ko be wolle lokan nyim fanam kulti mi alon ko akam dale ko fole ako salum nyani anen sabak sanjal silol mi alon ko wolle bije akam dale ko silol nyil paretele bari be siladolo fanan bijele mi alon ko dokolu bitakan jere afu nyamen afana fole ko bayring ferry o mi yalon ko aketa num problème moti jang ako ferry ol nyingi maintenance mi yalon ko lebi jang bari ferry fula do fanan kanale mi yalon ko man sakunde ya sanne ibe kafula nyim ferry fulo do kanne pour gaje ko isi do ko am sonandi nyamen ñum fanan daɓe ko kono mi yalon ko banko président o yaafo ala spicto nga suude e kukumalu kono mi yalon ko ay wole fo bari na tourisme la secteur la wolem luntangolti mi yalon ko wolle kadun na gambia banko kanjang président o yaafole de aka la fatale say niya compia anin sanjo la mi yalon ko wolle tambita ñum fanan daɓe ko kono mi yalon ko ay wole fo bari adi amuta crime ko la ko nga predict nu ñamen do wolem ñing of course am security ko mi yalon ko lebe kering gambia banko kanjang fole ko bayring ay cases sol mi yalon ka wala report atata le fo 4800 and something crime cases mi yalon ko akamta ko banko president ya fo le nyille keta ako bari crime nying abe degrees kan ne sa nying kumu fidinol mi yalon ko lebe kere ngani security problem ol nyilbe mu kolleti mi yalon ko be talakan ne sa gambia banko kan jang annum fanan security la fanala ako fo modern police station nin kumu jamal la bank police station ol akala man sakunda e wolole nyim fanan dabe kol ko mi yalon ko banko president ya fo ala picto bari fanan akala man sakunda be lola le fanan pour kaje ko droko mi yalon ko wolle be funding kelu fakan nyin tembola gambia banko kan jang ko ala man sakunda be lola pour kaje ko drok kelo yake pour kaje ko asi banno walla si tarano gambia banko kan jang adi amuta droko la kola ko ela bulo man sakunda la bulo mi yalon ko lebe lorin pour ka drokele min kera drug law enforcement agency di e ba jalale ko pour isi ku jamal kata ku jamal ki pour kaje ko droko si keleno gambia jang andung ala man sakunda be lola o fele ay ku kuma do min folem nyindi wole mile tuti akam tele ko afole ko mile tu iba integrate la en ports leto den mile tu akam tele ko iba te bondi lale ka samba of course am joso wala dula côté mialon ko starano ji andu nyim a besda men golem recommendation ol ti mialon ko wolle bota TRRC mialon ko le lotanu jang ko afo nyamen ay ku kuma do fana min folem nyindi ko ako referendum be kala draft constitution la mialon ko wolle ye député le wolle fayno ali alon hakilo ba kanno million keme million tang anin woro ye wolle dundi non draft constitution la kola bare kam tele ko député on tata file completely e manna nying draft constitution o ta pour ka ke luati a nyawnya nyama président ye lahido dile ko nyin draft constitution o december karo mialon ko le kana ako referendum o be am kelalale njigitale ko gambianol bebe sularine pour ka draft constitution o fanan soro bari aya fole fanan about FGM mialon ko of course mo jamal ya kacala kere topiko di jang andung amen meno nyanta kelanum mialon ko ye wala kenum wala the women's bilo mialon ko le sama national assembly amen menol mialon ko le nyanta kelanum je pour ici GMO akana ke criminality ate min foje wala nyinti ko akala mansa kunda itol e committee le pour they are committed ako my government remain committed to enforce in enforcing the prohibition of FGM e bajale ko be kelo kele pour ka je ko donc FGM pour ka maintain na luwal kono praitara na luwal kono nyilbe mu kolleti mi alon ko banko president ayafo woto be minkela don kon dalta ka ke nyamen mbe modol soto la mi alon ko ni be kacala president wala diamoto mi alon ko wala ke sign tenting ni be kacala akolale nga mo kilin soto le mi alon ko sitale already na sita kurek na be kacala president wala ko sam diamola honorable welcome.
Thank you so much. But I speak in Mandinka, and my Mandinka is not very good.
No, you can speak in any language.
Okay, good.
You can speak in any.
Okay.
Can you introduce yourself?
Honorable Amor Kamara, member for Nyanija.
Nyanija. So, what can you tell us about today, the President's Nation address?
Yeah, thank you very much. I have to say that I'm impressed because I have been in Parliament since 2017. Every year I witness State of the Nation address by His Excellency the President. And if I'm to rate, I will rate this as one of the most outstanding.
Why?
Very explicit, and of course, in fact, if you listen to him, the way the approach is changed. Like before, he will do it sector by sector, but for now, he is only focusing on the most critical sectors, the health, the economy, and so on, and the social sectors too. And very, very explicit, honestly, I have to say.
What impressed you more about his speech this year?
Well, first of all, he definitely mentioned various things which that they entice me, and I am a living witness to. I will have to single out the ones which that they move me most. First of all, I have to say the infrastructure, which we are all living witness. We are in the country. There are a lot of infrastructural development with regards to roads and so on. I myself, my constituency is a beneficiary. And of course, if you come to the issue of course, the women issue, the women and children, you mentioned a very brief statement, and it's a very important one, that the government is committed to protecting the rights and then welfare of women and children. That is so powerful, and then it's maintaining the position of the government, and of course, both at the international level and at the national level. So these are very important factors. And of course, he also mentioned very other important aspects in the health. We understand we are facing challenges, but with support, there are a lot of health facilities that we are inaugurating, and then there are a lot of reforms that are even going within the health system with regards to drug procurements, training of medical personnel, and so on. And of course, if you go to the other sectors to education, there are a lot of schools that we are inaugurated, classrooms. A lot of improvement, I have to say personally. I'm really impressed.
He made mention that his government remain committed to enforcing the prohibition of FGM. Are you impressed with that statement?
Yeah, actually, what he mentioned there, he said the government is committed to protecting the rights and the welfare of children, and of course,
he mentioned
noting that there's currently a legislation in place, and they are awaiting the outcome of Parliament. Now everything depends on Parliament to decide anyhow. But for the government, they are committed in that stand, maintaining the ban on FGM and so on. But now the onus lies on members of the Parliament to either decide anyway. And then as members of Parliament, we will do the needful.
Has your stance changed as far as this FGM is concerned?
Well, my stand is never known. I'm the chair of the Joint Committee on Health and Women, and we are tasked with doing the inquiry. So as far as I am responsible of chairing that, I remain very neutral, remain very open, because I discuss with many people.
You cannot remain neutral because you will vote.
Of course, on the day of the voting, my
you will vote.
When I present my report, my stand on.
Why are you hiding your position on this?
As I introduced, I am the chair of the Joint Committee.
So, but is there any law that says if you are the chair, you cannot, you should hide your
Of course,
intention?
it's not a matter of hiding. It will be very fair if you say I am hiding. No, that's not my case. I have my position. But as far as I am the chair of this committee, I have to be very neutral to make sure that if I receive proponents of the FGM, they will know that definitely I am being very fair to them. If I receive those who are against the banning, they will know that I am very, very fair to them. But my position remains very clear, and it will be very clear on that day. I have to tell you.
Right, that's fair enough. So he also mentioned about crimes, but shortly, what did you make of that statement?
Yeah, that's a challenge, and we are all living witness to the increase in crime rates and so on. But he emphasized the increased presence of security and patrols all around the country to make sure that the crime rates are curbed. It's a challenge because the security officers, both the police and army, they need resources.
But did you agree that there is a decrease in crime rates in this country?
According to the statistics. According to the statistics he presented, definitely there is the decrease in crime rates. Definitely, I have to say, because I don't just go out and hear that somebody is that and say, crime rates are increased. I believe on the statistics that is presented.
Thank you so much, Honorable, for coming.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. So we're going to have another a National Assembly member, and that is, of course, Abdullah Sise, the National Assembly member for All Yundum constituency. We're going to discuss with him the same thing. Honorable, welcome to this platform. He is my National Assembly member because I'm from All Yundum. What did you make of the President's State of Nation address this year?
Thank you so much, Buba, and thank you to the listeners. I would rate it as one of the best for the simple reason that the President, from a clear view, indicated in the speech that he is going to concentrate more on the social sector of the country, and that is exactly what we expect him to deliver on. And in the morning before coming, exactly I was thinking that the President should deliver on the social sector and give a clear picture of the current status, and this is exactly what he did. So I rate it as one of the best, since we came in 2017. And of course, I think the President has been learning how and what the National Assembly needs and what the country needs from his, speeches whenever he is delivering for the nation. So
he made mention of the draft constitution, that there will be a referendum in December. Did you see this coming?
Yes, because I've been part of processes to ensure that the draft constitution comes back to Parliament for enactment, which I think will be delivered on. and if the president so said that, I mean, the referendum will be in December, I believe in that.
Why did you believe? You were the same National Assembly members that rejected the draft constitution.
Yes, we rejected the draft based on reasons, and those reasons, as long as they are still there, we have a problem. But if they are not, then I think that the draft constitution will be passed. And I think we've done some consultations among ourselves to clarify some of the positions that we have in the draft constitution. So those things are now no more. So I believe we'll be able to enact it, and then December we'll have the referendum.
Do you believe the crime rates in this country are decreasing, according to the president?
He acknowledged it himself. He understands very well that we have an increase in crime rate. I mean, like any other country. In the speech.
But according to the statistics that he presented this year, it seems like there is a decrease in crime rates. But we've seen, I'm not sure whether this is reflecting.
You know, okay, like for the crime, any crime that is recorded, that is what the president will tell it on. A crime that is not recorded, the president will not be able to say anything about that. So, before he delivered the speech, the figures or the data that he has, that is what he delivered on. Probably there are crimes that came even before or after he got that data. So we believe probably crimes that came after the data will come in his next speech.
So he spoke about FGM, you heard him, he said his government is definitely committed in enforcing the prohibition of FGM.
But you know, like every government should be committed in banning, should ban, or let's say should be committed to protect the welfare of women in the country. That is not Gambia alone. The president made the commitment, the government's position. That is not to say that the National Assembly is going to repeal or not to repeal, because he cannot say anything about what the National Assembly is going to do. But he said his government is committed in protecting the law. That is what he said. So what now, whatever is going to be the outcome of the bill, will determine the government's position at the end of the day. So we expect, we foresee what is going to happen probably in the next coming.
Do you have anything that you are not impressed with this year, as far as this speech is concerned?
Actually, if you ask me more, I mean, like, I am a pro-government MP. Of course, sometimes when I have issues that are not in line, I talk about them. The only thing I did not hear the president mention in his speech was the Independence Stadium. Of course, he talked a lot about the Minister of Youth and Sports that I am impressed with. I was going to expect him to talk about independence because we have only one infrastructural development where our national sports have been, watched. So I wanted him to take a bold step to ensure that the national stadium is complete once and for all, and so that we can have a national infrastructure where we can conduct our sports affairs. That is what I did not hear, and I think that will be addressed.
Thank you so much, Honorable.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have another National Assembly member, of course, this time from the opposition. As my Honorable Tumanding, Keba Tumanding from Fonyi Jarol constituency. Is my Honorable. Thank you so much, Honorable, for coming. What did you make of the President's nation address this year?
Well, I'll be able to make my full analysis when I look at the speech itself. But there are a few things that I pick on that I can disagree at the moment because we need to feel it. Like when they said there is an economic growth of 5.3, well, we should see the impact. And then again, when he said there is also increase in our food production, we should also feel the impact because there should be a reduction in the importation, and there should also be a reduction in the prices of these foods. So if you say there is a reduction, the percentage you are given, for me, I'm disagreeing on that. And then again, if you look at it again, it said the crime rate has increased by 6.6%. I don't know how this percentage is done. Is it the reported one? Because the unreported one, because if you look at, there are a lot of crimes happening in this country that we are not known for before. So if that's happening now and they are talking about crime reduction, is something also I'm disagreeing with it. And then when they talk about also again about this signing contract with this United Arab Emirates and other countries on youth employment, well, if you travel and you hear how our youth are feeling around those areas, so I don't know how this contract is benefiting us, and I don't know who are they sending, because last year they mentioned it, but all you will hear, those who are there are even asking for government to help them to come back. So I don't know how this agreement is being conducted or been agreed.
Are you disappointed that you did not hear anything about the economic in Fonyi?
Well, he did not mention of, and then they are talking about these security reforms and other, and they don't even mention, because for me, I feel still now we are in colonization. Because if you look at our state house, it's still being occupied by foreign forces. There is nowhere in this world where peacekeeping mission, a foreign force will occupy our state house. That one I'm totally against, and no mention of that. And still now there is no mention of withdrawal of these forces in Fonyi. Thank God that with the coming of the new president, almost I can say that now we are relieved. Problems that were happening before, they are not happening. So that's why I don't think we are hearing any noise around that end.
So regarding the draft constitution, I know the former president who you support, of course, brought the 1997 constitution, and there were a lot of amendments that were done, and some people are not happy with it. But according to the president today, he said there will be a referendum in December. That is for the draft constitution. Are you agreeing? Do you see a referendum for the draft constitution?
Well, you know, one thing why I always, maybe because of the amendments, that's why people hate the old constitution. But if you look at the old constitution and then you compare with other constitution, definitely they will tell you it's the best among the sub-region. I don't know what are the issues there that people don't like that cannot be amended. Because it was amended. If you don't like, we can remove those things. Than organizing another referendum on this constitution. I don't understand. Because it's going to be, look at 169 million, something like that, spent on this draft constitution that was thrown out. We made other people rich after the document was thrown out. And then, to my surprise or to my amazement, is people who even prepared this draft constitution, we are part of preparing the constitution, come out again to say that it's a bad constitution. I don't know what make them also turn again to say it's a bad constitution when they were part of the preparation. So I don't understand.
The people who prepared
Yes, they were part of it.
Who?
Isafal is part of those who prepared this constitution. Hussein Udabo is part of it.
So which constitution are you referring? The 1997 constitution?
Well, this is what I'm saying. Those who are
but the 1997 constitution, yes, they were part of it, but it was amended several times.
This is why I'm saying now, maybe what was amended is why they say it's bad. Can't we remove it before we organize another one and put what we want? This is what I'm saying.
Okay, but now we already have a new one, a prepared one, and we spent 116 million to prepare this constitution, and there was a CRC that was formed. Now the president is saying that there will be a referendum come December, this draft constitution. Did you see referendum happening?
Well, he made the statement, so it will be wrong for me to say it's not going to happen.
Yeah, National Assembly.
Yes,
Are you going to reject the draft constitution?
No, well, he said referendum. When it comes to national, remember, I belong to the minority. For me, I can only make my voice heard. But now the decision will come from the majority. So it depends if I'm lucky that the majority join my side. And then now I cannot say that I'm going to say no to it. Because like I said, I am going to go through. It's not a matter of any document that the president is coming because bringing because of an opposition. I'm going to go against it. For me, what I'm going to do is to study the document. If it will benefit Gambians, I go in for it. So, but for me, like you know, I'm already a minority. So for me to make things happen would be by chance. So for me, it's unless the majority joins me. So that's all I can say.
You spoke about FGM too. You were in Egypt recently.
FGM, we are on a fact-finding mission. We are finding the position of people, organizations, individuals, and then he has also told us the government stand, which means their position of government. So if you meet my position would be my people. The position would be my people that send me to represent them.
What is their position?
No, at the moment, let's leave it there. The position of my people I'm also making on my findings. I have to hear from them.
It is said that since you come from Egypt, you people have changed your position.
No, for me, no, the only thing that can change my decision would be my people. I'm the voice of my people. And then the law that I'm making is for my people. So I'm not going to go for a law that my people, most of them do not agree. I'm brought here by the majority, and I'll go in for something that the majority of my people agree. That one, no one can change that.
So whatever they say.
But we even stated that. We said that now it's democracy, isn't it? What is democracy? It's about the input of your people. So if I make a decision that does not include the input of my people, then I'm not a democrat. I'm a dictator. Means I'm dictated by somebody. They should allow us to make our choices, to make our voice heard, to make the voice of our people heard. Not to put pressure on us. No one is going to put pressure on me. The only people who can put pressure on me are the Gambian people and my people who voted me into office. That's what I'm going to stand by. Going to Egypt, I had people trained that, okay, they bought them this and this. We are on a factor because here...
but you receive a lot of money.
No, well, they are selling a lot of money. These are allowances.
It's a lot of money.
No, well, yes, it's a lot of money.
175,000.
Yeah, you know, I never requested for it.
But they give it to you.
Yeah, no, what I'm saying, they give it to me for the trip, and it's where my feeding and everything was from. And I remember 175,000. I was spending in the hotel $160 just a day, and that's only include only breakfast, nothing like lunch, nothing like dinner.
I know this will be. I'll bring you to our subsequent programs. But I don't know what kind of consultation these people went into Egypt.
No,
because this Egyptian.
You are asking us, but it is not us who decided to go to Egypt.
Okay.
It was others who decided that we should also go to Egypt, where they feel like Egypt is an Islamic country, and then this law was there and it was banned.
Okay.
And then they believe, and then they said that this law is been associated with culture and the religion. So they feel Egypt is a Muslim.
So that you can learn from them.
That's so that we can learn from them.
The only thing you can learn from Egypt is they ban FGM, because FGM is banned.
They learn from FGM. Why? And what are their challenges? This, I think, what we went to study there.
Okay.
They ban it, but they have challenges. They will tell you.
All right.
And then why they decided to take us, most of the Islamic scholars here who are associated with religion, they say they studied in Egypt. So it's a matter of now go and hear from the master himself.
Some of them, not
yes,
all of them.
not some of them. Yeah. Now they are telling us, can you go and hear from the masters themselves? Okay. This is why we are taking there.
I can tell you a majority of the scholars who are probably did not study in Egypt, some in Saudi Arabia,
yes.
Some might be in
but
Egypt,
those who propose and sponsor this trip, that's what they thought.
All right.
You know, for me...
That's what they told you?
Yeah, that's what
and
they told
that is the World Bank and UNICEF?
UNICEF, something like that,
right,
yes,
okay.
I was told, yeah.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you, Honorable, for coming.
You're welcome.
Well appreciated.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you so much. That was Honorable Tumanding from Fonyi Jarol constituency. We thank you so much for coming. Mbadingol nga nyine sotale president o ya deliver le ngak modol fole mi alon ko president o ya fo bari bukol fanam be fintilale ker faado be statement o nyim fanam ba populist lale pour mol be sa rit no fango ay munefo bari fanam faatu be programme o kelele bi ala Tuesday programme iba be analyze le president la kuma kawlu mi alon ko ay wole fo about security about carol be la min diamu alsi programme o nyim mutano on faatu on by 5 o'clock alsi ker faatu chunnole ale programme o nyim rabe moli invite le mi alon ko ya londi lukarngol soro ande ba analyze lale ko mi alon ko am wolle be kela nyin dulato nte buba gaje go rahmatullahi jao and of course na entire crew mi alon ko wolle bijang Charles Elvis Ngom Sire Drame Mustafa Kamara aning Lamin Diallo bafula mobi ko ala barka bake